Good afternoon, my name is Josh from CyclonesOZ and I've got a detailed forecast update on the situation for central New South Wales and the mid-north coast and Hunter region tomorrow afternoon in regards to the thunderstorm outbreak that we're expecting there. It's looking like it's a pretty gnarly thunderstorm setup and we've got some really serious conditions now on the forecast across central New South Wales, and we are expecting some of the strongest and most widespread severe thunderstorm activity of the season so far through New South Wales to occur tomorrow afternoon. It's a big outbreak where there's plenty of detail here in the forecast, so there's not much to be worried about at this point in time, just plenty of stuff to be aware of going into tomorrow. So right now, as I'm recording this, it's about 10 o'clock the day before on Thursday. We are talking about a pretty expansive severe thunderstorm setup through New South Wales, and the forecast has gotten a little bit better over the last couple of days, as I did estimate it to do so because of that SSW and the impacts that that dry air is filtering through into the atmosphere is having on these thunderstorms, but we're still expecting a gnarly outbreak tomorrow. So what is going to happen? Well, from about midday onwards, we are expecting thunderstorms to begin blowing up into the central parts of New South Wales, particularly around Parkes, Dubbo and Orange. These thunderstorms are going to start off small and isolated, but they're going to grow pretty quickly. They're going to intensify pretty quickly, and they're going to become more widespread pretty quickly on into the early afternoon hours. Thunderstorms will begin popping up into the Sydney western suburbs at around midday or just after. We're expecting thunderstorms to extend through the Sydney metro area between about 1 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then thunderstorms developing from about 1 o'clock onwards into the Hunter region, and then from about 2:30 or 3 o'clock onwards into the mid-north coast region. We're expecting the strongest thunderstorms tomorrow to occur between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. through central New South Wales, and between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. across the Hunter and the mid-north coast regions, with strong thunderstorms possible into the Sydney metro area around 1 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The thunderstorm threat for the Sydney metro area is not as extensive as what it is for the Hunter region or the mid-north coast. In short, they are expecting better conditions in the Sydney area and through Sydney's suburbs, as opposed to the gnarly thunderstorms that we're expecting into the Hunter region and the mid-north coast. Now, thunderstorms are going to be dangerous at times, particularly into the central regions of New South Wales. Stronger thunderstorms are expected, and that is because we have sky-high convective available potential energy values. This is the instability in the environment that thunderstorms use to create our severe thunderstorm impacts of damaging winds, heavy rainfall, and large hailstones. So you can see these values here approaching 2,500 joules per kilogram of available energy in the atmosphere for these thunderstorms to make the most of. Now, I say this every time. It's a relatively arbitrary number, but you can interpret it in a bunch of different ways. On this map here, when I start seeing these oranges and these reds, we're talking about very dangerous thunderstorm potential, and we're seeing that around Bathurst, around Lithgow, around Orange, Parkes and Dubbo through tomorrow afternoon and evening, and we're seeing the chance of some very dangerous thunderstorms developing here. And if we couple that with the sounding as well, this is a look at the picture in the atmosphere. We're looking at temperatures and dew points on this here. What we look for in a severe thunderstorm setup is a big dry slot in the mid-levels around the 500 hectopascal range, and we have that. This is where the dew point, which is the blue line, sinks far below the red line, which is the real temperatures, and you can see there is a massive dry slot in the mid levels of the atmosphere. That's where we see organized severe thunderstorm development, and we're talking about your supercells in this point in time here with strong rotating updrafts, and that's where we can see the large hailstone potential. So when we couple a sounding like this, which is for really gnarly severe thunderstorms, with the convective available potential energy numbers that we're seeing, central New South Wales is going to be a hotspot, and this is right around Dubbo here, where we're looking at some significant thunderstorm potential. We've also got some pretty warm temperatures down on the surface as well, approaching 30 degrees Celsius, looking quite warm through the middle of the day, and that's going to create a lot of surface heating potential, and again, coupled with some significant humidity that's going to be streaming through to the mid-levels and especially into the upper levels through this part of New South Wales, it is looking like a very healthy setup for organised thunderstorm potential. It's also looking pretty healthy in Sydney, but you can see that dry slot isn't as defined, which means strong rotating / supercellular thunderstorms into the Sydney metro area aren't as likely to occur. You can see the conditions do get better though out towards Penrith. There is a bit more of a pronounced dry slot, and it is a much more of a sheet environment into the western suburbs of Sydney, and the general trend of tomorrow is going to be the further west you go, especially once you get out towards Dubbo and Orange. That's where the real severe thunderstorms are going to be. So you can extrapolate that and say Penrith is more likely to see significant / severe thunderstorms in the Sydney metro area, but at this point in time I would say significant / organised severe thunderstorm activity is probably a 20 or 30% chance in the Sydney metro area, as opposed to a greater than 50 or 60% chance much further inland out around Orange and Dubbo. Really looking out for some significant severe thunderstorm potential. Another location to be watching very closely is, of course, the Hunter region and the mid-north coast. You can see those convective available potential energy values explode into the early afternoon hours, talking between about 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We're looking at values here outside of Foster and Taree, closing, much above 3,000, getting close to about 3,300 or 3,400. Now, the last time I saw values this high in this part of New South Wales was the previous season, but the last time I saw values of this magnitude in the subtropics of Australia was a couple of weeks ago, south of Hervey Bay. We're talking about values there around the 3,100 mark, and we saw 8 centimetre hailstones move through south of Hervey Bay, or up to 8 centimetre hailstones. Now, of course, I'm not extrapolating that and saying that we're looking at 8 centimetre hailstones tomorrow, but it gives you an idea of what is possible in the environment that we have in this part of New South Wales. Again, the sounding looking reasonably healthy. We have to take into account that by this time the atmosphere is going to be saturated with lots of cloud cover, so the dew point readings here are a little bit towards the wet kind of side. They're definitely a bit biased towards higher precipitation amounts here, which is what we're expecting generally across the mid-north coast, but still you can see there is a distinct dry slot in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, and again, great warming into the lower levels as well. So overall, looking like a very healthy setup, and wind shear is perhaps a little bit more extreme through parts of the mid-north coastline and the Hunter region as well. So particularly inland from Newcastle around Singleton, and then north towards Foster and Taree and Gloucester, especially further inland from those locations as well, up towards Port Macquarie. Really big potential for organised severe thunderstorm activity tomorrow afternoon, and we'll be talking about our supercells once again in this part of New South Wales as well. Again, lots of lightning is also expected as well. This will look at the lightning estimation and the lightning density estimation as well. You can see these thunderstorms are going to have lots of lightning within them as well, particularly earlier on into the afternoon. They're going to be very intense on the lightning side of things, and generally when we have a setup like this, we're also talking about the risk of a lot of these thunderstorms having at least small hailstones, and probably closer towards the larger sized of hailstones as well, between 3 and 5 centimetres, with giant hailstones also being a possibility up to 7 or even 8 centimetres in diameter. Trust me, tomorrow is a big day for severe thunderstorm potential. It's the best setup that I've seen for New South Wales in quite some time, and it's likely to mean a very expansive outbreak of severe thunderstorms is imminent. It's definitely one that I'm watching very, very closely, and expect more updates on the CyclonesOZ channel as well over the next couple of hours, and especially through tomorrow. But yeah, you can see the convective forecast models, whilst we actually aren't seeing the convective forecast models really jump on at this point in time, we're still seeing some potent severe thunderstorm potential even earlier on in the afternoon from these convective forecast models, and it really does quickly develop through tomorrow. Now, there is one thing that I'm kind of concerned about that could jeopardize the thunderstorm outbreak through tomorrow, and that is the dry air that's coming through. We have a great dry line and cool change that's going to be sweeping up from the south, but we're likely to see dry air intruding very far in from the west, and that's going to make it right out towards Dubbo. Meant a reduction in how many severe thunderstorms we're expecting tomorrow and how expansive they're going to be, especially through central New South Wales. I think the forecast for the Hunter region and the mid-north coast, or I truly believe that the forecast for the Hunter region and the mid-north coast is an absolute home run at this point in time. We're expecting severe thunderstorms to be pretty much guaranteed through tomorrow afternoon, but out into central New South Wales, they're likely to be a bit more isolated and a bit further and fewer between out in this part of New South Wales here. So Dubbo and Orange, a slightly reduced chance from yesterday's forecast, and I imagine that's going to continue to reduce a little bit into tomorrow, but still widespread and expansive strong thunderstorm to severe thunderstorm activity is expected in this part of New South Wales. There's not much that's going to be able to change that outlook at this point in time. And then non-severe thunderstorms expected to carry on late into Friday night into the northeastern parts of New South Wales. They're going to be more squally and rain-based in nature. We could see some stronger thunderstorm lines moving in towards the south-central parts of Queensland, between Warwick out towards Goondiwindi, Thallin and St George, later on Friday night and into very early Saturday morning, with Brisbane and the Gold Coast unlikely to see anything in the way of thunderstorm activity until Saturday afternoon and evening. But definitely some interesting stuff. Tomorrow is going to be a long day, lots of thunderstorms on the outlook, and there's plenty of stuff to be talking about as well. So follow along, check out the Facebook page as well. There'll be plenty more information over there as well. And if you haven't already, then please do consider subscribing. The support lately has not only been much appreciated, but nearly got us to the 50,000 subscriber milestone, and that is a massive milestone for me personally, and also for the CyclonesOZ channel and network. So thank you so much to everybody that has followed along so far, and if you haven't, then now is the best time to do so. Definitely an interesting day. Stay safe, stay prepared, and stay in the know as well. So follow the Bureau of Meteorology, follow my page, and follow a lot of other forecasters as well, just so you have the most up-to-date and well-rounded information. Now, that is going to be all from me today on these severe thunderstorms. I'll have more information as necessary, and I'll catch you all in the next storm. Goodbye.